Alright, so what we got here are three, I think, matches that I kind of just threw this week. Pretty much back to back, all on the same day. So what I'm going to do is just re-record the commentary and basically just go over what happened and cut down the time for the videos, because these matches were like 15 minutes each. Before I gave up or just whatever happened. So yeah, I gotta make this shorter. There's no point in it being, what is that, over 30 minutes. So I gotta figure out how to cut this down to size and make some content out of it. So here we got here. This was a really I don't want to say invested. Invested isn't the word. And it's not like well built either. It's a good defense for what it's supposed to do, which is wall you out. And if you're unable to break down the units, then you basically just lose here. And that's really what happened. That Winter Black Knight ended up being too fast for me to take on, which I kind of knew before I went into the match. I was pretty sure that Seliph wouldn't be able to outspeed, neither would Nerthuz. So I was kind of just hoping to take him down with chip damage and multiple rounds of combat. But what ended up happening here was that I wasted a bunch of time just setting everything up and getting into range to attack, which was a big mistake on my part. I really should have had more of a offensive, aggressive strategy from the go, but you know, a lot of times we go into these things and we don't really plan them out. I'm just moving my units to see how best I can get everything set up, how best I can get into position, stepping on the traps that need to be stepped on, getting the structures out of the way, and that all ended up just taking way too much time. And I really should have got going a lot faster than I ended up going here. My initial plan was I wanted to see what Seliph would have been able to do against the Zelgius, and as you saw earlier, he was not able to do very much. And also the second part of the strategy was to ultimately just take down Idun. I knew I would have been able to do that because Shez was going to meet the speed check and hit lethality against Idun. And then that would have left us with being able to take out the units from range with our one range unit in Shez here, Legendary Shez. But the problem was, again, I took far too long just to get everything going here, and I didn't have a concrete strategy in terms of mobilizing my units. And as you can see here, it's already turn 4, and all I've done was just break structures and moved a bunch of my units over to the right hand side here where I was going to take out Idun, and then I was going to be counting on Kanto to get out of the way of any potential movement shenanigans from the Guidance 4 of Katria and Triandra, which would have allowed Black Knight and Midios to warp pretty far down and then be able to take advantage of just killing my units pretty much, which is ultimately what I was trying to avoid. I should have had Peony on the right hand side. I think that was really my biggest mistake. Having Peony over here served no purpose aside from
this way.
I don't know, Peony shouldn't have been over there besides Seliph, because Seliph isn't able to do very much over here. Yeah, I really should have just moved everyone over to the right. That was my initial mistake. And then from here, really what I was trying to do is set up so that Shez could have just gotten out with 3 positions from Nerthuz, but I didn't play it well. I could have gotten the pot over there regardless, so really was no reason for me to have Peony on the hand side. And now moving into turn 5 with literally nothing done is giving me probably 1 or 2 turns to take out all of these enemy units, and you really don't want to be in that position. Ultimately, the gravity here played a little bit of a part in how I was moving Shez about. The smite there was, looking back at it, unnecessary. Even if I had just left Shez in range of the gravity, it would have been easy for me to just take one step up and take out Idun and then reposition back. The Kanta control was a little bit of a problem in terms of getting the 2 movement off Nerthus after Kanta, which is really what I wanted. But yeah, just another mistake. Yeah, really, I really should have had all of my units on this left-hand lane here. On the right-hand lane there. It was just a no-go. And at this point, I still didn't have a plan in terms of how to take out Black Knight, aside from taking him down with chip damage. And pretty much from here, I lose because, yeah, I'm not able to do anything. I can't take out Zelgius with Shez because she's not meeting the speed check to get the effective damage, so that's a no-go. Seliph is still unable to kill Black Knight, and Nerthus, both Nerthuses, are too far away to really impact the map here. So this is a GG's. This is done. I've already lost here, and it's turn 6. Next turn is turn 7. I get nothing out of turn 7, so yeah.
Let us go.
No point in me showing you anything else. Let's just move to the surrender. Alright, so that one was a dud. So we move to the next match here and basically run into kind of a similar situation. Really, I couldn't have used any other team here because I have no units. I think I've mentioned this before, that really could have handled Altina. So I decided to just go with the sweep effect. I'm pretty sure that Fjorm would have died, and then Dimitri would have died, Edelgard would have died. What was on my other team? Krom does nothing against... Well, he doesn't have a sweep effect, and she has that first hit on Pierceable DR, so I'm pretty sure Krom would have died as well. So yeah, this was the only option because Seliph has the sweep, so I decided to go in with that angle. But ultimately what happened was I was just not able to take out this Hell. She ended up being far too powerful for me to take down, and that is not something that I anticipated. I didn't know that she was a plus 10 before I started the match, but I didn't see that she had no quarter, which made a world of difference against Nerthus. And Shez was just not able to meet the speed check yet again. If Seliph was able to take out this Shez, take out this Hell, then it would have been a lot easier to win this match because really all I would have needed was just a dance for Seliph to be able to take out Altina. But this Hell really just forced the surrender out of me. I had no answers for her, and she was pretty much in my face, and I ended up almost getting the kill, but I positioned poorly, wasted my dance, and it just wasn't to be. Seliph was eventually able to take her out because what happened was that Wind Sweep came into effect because he was able to meet the speed check after Hell was below 25% HP, which meant that she didn't get a huge majority of her weapon effect. So he was able to double, but it wasn't enough in the end because positioning. I had already made some bad plays before that, so yeah, it just ended badly. Let me just cut forward here to what I ended up doing. It's turn 2 already, and I haven't gotten into position yet. But what I'm going to end up doing is basically just take a swipe at Altina here, and then back out.
Of course.
Man, that's a lot of damage reduction, but because of the healing tower, she's going to heal that all back. And if you don't know, Altina does have DR piercing in her special, so yeah, we can't depend on anyone aside from Seliph to take her out, because he has Wind Sweep. Probably Miracle would have still worked, I'm not sure. I don't think Seliph has the defense necessary to take a hit from Ultina. Yeah, man, she's gonna be bonus next week, so probably need to have a counter for her. Don't know what that's gonna be yet. Definitely, probably. I mean, hopefully it's not like too many wind sweep, no counter disrupt Ultinas running around, because that's gonna be a problem because she has the Brave DR as well as just non-pierceable DR as well. So here's the matchup against this Hell, and yeah, as you can see, it's pretty bad. And I pretty much get stalled out this turn.
What do we do?
What I ended up doing was just waiting one more turn and seeing what Lumera can do with her terrain effects as well as the drive support that she provides. It does end up being helpful, but yeah, that Hell was the ultimate problem here. Alright, so here's the stuff about Lumera that ended up being pretty useful because Seliph is able to live now because of the drives from Lumera as well as Peony, and it helps to not die in one hit. Well, not die overall is good. So this is what ended up happening. Now the problem here is,
of course,
my placements were a little bit off. Well, for here it's good because Lumera had to go there so that her terrain effect ended up being in front of Hell there. But what I didn't realize at this point was that Hell had no quarter, in which case I would have went in with Nerthuz first, because Nerthuz was also able to survive, but she's not able to survive now because no quarter, and her damage reduction is getting pierced. So yeah, that's just bad. Hell has adaptive damage. There's no quarter, and no one can initiate. I also forgot that Shez neutralizes her penalties, so I was thinking that maybe I could have danced Shez to try to get some extra effects, but this 1x2 won't change with Peony's buff because Shez neutralizes her penalties. So none of these penalties on Shez matters. That matchup is not going to change. So ultimately, this Hell ended up pretty much stonewalling me out of a victory here. Nothing I could do. No movements.
What do we do?
Yeah, this was just bad. So I ended up dancing Seliph after some reposition stuff, and as you can see, he is able to get the kill because Hell's weapon effect is, you know, HP and stuff. Yeah, but
For all life on land.
if I attack, then Seliph is stuck, and I have no way of getting him out. So ultimately, I have to surrender at this point. It is game over. Alright, so this was attempt number 3. And as you can see here, we're against this really nice former Shannon here. He was absolutely decked out with all the skills, and ultimately, he wasn't the one that stopped me. It was Gatekeeper that really ruined this one for me. Again, another match that I misplayed. I wasted way too many turns trying to take out this Gatekeeper. And I should have been a lot more efficient with my movements here. That Shannon hit a lot harder than I expected as well. And I wasn't able to double him with my initial setup. I would have been able to if I had played a little bit smarter, but ultimately what it boils down to was this Shannon just not dying. Let me cut a little bit forward here so that you can see what I mean. But again, Fiorum showing that she's really the MVP. Yeah, doing really well against Soren here, although it was a lot more damage that I wanted to have taken. So I ended up backing up a little bit after this combat. Well, no, it wasn't. Who did the damage? I don't remember. I think it was Azuri getting baited here with the 8. That's crazy. Who got... Oh, it wasn't that turn. Okay. I don't have no follow-up anymore. As you can notice here from my positioning, Gato is too far away from from Fjorm, and that ended up being a problem for this next set of matches here against Julia. She did a lot of damage, man. A lot of damage. And without the null follow up here, I don't get the double on Gatekeeper, which would have come out really handy there. I would have been able to get him off the map there. And this iceberg hits for a lot. Man. I could have had a +10 Julia myself. I got so many copies of her. Like 42 is a lot, bro. Like, that's so much. Imagine how much got reduced from the Ice Mirror. Plus my damage reduction. Well, maybe my damage reduction didn't kick in because of the special.
Show me.
Maybe. But yeah, I could have had a +10 legendary, Julia, regular Julia, Fallen Julia, but I ended up foddering a couple of copies to chain into Panic Smoke 4, which I think is a fantastic skill. Yeah. But anyways, from here, you notice that it's already turn 4, and I tried to get Gateau closer to Fjorm, and then I make a couple of misplays and end up sending Lumiere to get the pot a little bit too early, and that was my mistake, because Lumiere ends up fighting Gatekeeper, and she can't double him because she doesn't have no follow-up either, and she's also not doing very much damage, so I really just misplayed this one. And that Shannon did a lot of damage to Fjorm, way more than I anticipated. But we did have a couple of turns left to be able to try to close this out, but I just wasn't playing my best here, and ended up wasting 2 extra turns trying to take out this Gatekeeper because he is right under the healing tower. What I needed to do was take out Gatekeeper on this turn, because I had all the pots and everything, but Fjorm was way too low, and no one would have been able to take out Shannon. Maybe if I had put bonus doubler on Nerthuse, maybe she would have been able to hold her own, but it wasn't happening here. And you can see here that my units are exposed.
Oh, yes.
Man, if I had to say anything in terms of like just faith and playing the game, it's position your units in a way that is going to benefit you. Think through your movements before you do it, your actions, because as you can see here, Gatekeeper just kind of went around behind the block there and prevented me from attacking him. I was actually trying to be in a position where Lumiere would have been able to attack on the following turn, but the AI is smart, man, a little bit smarter than me in this situation, and I ended up not being able to take the best position, or ended up not taking the best position. What I should have done was backed up, which would have forced him to come down and attack, but that was my mistake. Fjorm here just showing that she's still just that girl, taking out all of those units on her own. She would have been able to take out Gatekeeper too if I had set it up properly, but yeah, from here I can't reach Gatekeeper. Well, actually I can reach him, but again, positioning, Gateau is all the way in the back here, which means Fjorm does not have null follow-up. And as you can see here, I will find that out once I get up there with the reposition from Nerthuse. Maybe I should have sent... Well, Nerthuse is blue, so she probably wouldn't have done enough damage, but as you can see here, so close, but so far without the null follow-up. I opted for the magic null. I opted for the deflect magic because it really works well with Fjorm's kit back when capture balls were a thing, but I probably should get rid of it now. But GG's, this is the last one.